Peace and greetings to the East. On this episode, we're going to go into part 2 of what we mentioned in part 1. Part 1 dealt with Weston, Jarvis, and the old-fashioned Masonic podcast. So I just want to go into more points that I didn't deal with in the other episode. So let me get into that. All right. In the first episode, which was a review of the old-fashioned Masonic podcast with Weston Jarvis. First of all, as we get into this episode, with the old-fashioned Masonic podcast, they took the episode down, meaning like they removed it. I don't know why they did that. You have to ask them as to why they removed the video to begin with. So there's a couple of things I'm going to deal with, and then I'm going to sign off. The first issue is money. They talked about money as far as on the old-fashioned Masonic podcast. Basically, with the money issue, what they were trying to talk about was, I guess, so-called clandestine masonry being like a pawn. I don't want to say a Ponzi scheme, but like a scheme to make money and stuff like that. That's not the case. So we'll probably revisit that as we go along. Another issue that popped up was the Philaxis Society. The Philaxis Society is an organization of PHA Prince Hall Masons, because there are two different Prince Hall organizations. One is PHO, Prince Hall Origin, and the other is PHA, Prince Hall Affiliation, or Prince Hall Affiliated. So Weston Jarvis mentioned to the host of the old-fashioned Masonic podcast that the Philaxis Society was going against certain things. Excuse me. That the Philaxis Society was trying to basically like say bad things about his organization and stuff like that. And I could understand that because I'm familiar with the Philaxis Society. The Philaxis Society is a Prince Hall affiliated organization that, to me, they're not bothersome, but they try to like publish Masonic organizations that they don't recognize, meaning that Prince Hall Masonry doesn't recognize, in terms of PHA, Prince Hall Masonry. And I don't know, like, they try to make it a problem. I'll get back to that. I don't want to focus too much on the Philax Society right now, but I'll get back to that. Another issue is the General Grand Masonic Congress. If you watch the show on Old Fashioned Masonic podcast with Weston Jarvis, which they took the episode down, I don't know why they took the episode down. I would probably guess that either Weston Jarvis's jurisdiction didn't want them to publish that episode and probably put a cease and desist order. That's a possibility. The other possibility is the mainstream Masons probably pressed the old-fashioned Masonic podcast to take the episode down because they don't want individuals to have open dialogue about the different opinions and respects to Freemasonry. That's a possibility. All right. Anyway, in that episode, the host of Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast asked Weston Jarvis about the growth of the jurisdiction, meaning the growth of Weston Jarvis's jurisdiction, which would be ancient free and accepted Masons, whatever his jurisdiction is. I don't remember off the top, but Weston Jarvis said that according to him, that the that his jurisdiction, which is ancient free and accepted Masons, and don't think that when he was talking, it represents only his particular Grand Lodge, so on and so forth, that they have the highest growth in terms of like numbers of like getting Freemasons, like getting people to join the Freemasons. To me, I'm not going to support what the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast was saying, but what I could say is that with ancient free and accepted Masons, in terms of Weston Jarvis's group and stuff like that, the claim that he made that they have the probably the biggest growth, I could tell you for sure that that's not true at all. But that's neither here nor there. So that's another subject. Visitation. That's another thing. The Let me go back to the General Grand Masonic Congress because that's important. Weston Jarvis talked about how his jurisdiction, meaning his Grand Lodge, that they're part of a certain General Grand Masonic Congress. And that deals with John G. Jones Masonry. That's a certain branch of Freemasonry, like a certain style of Freemasonry. The same way as if you heard about Prince Hall Freemasonry. It's basically it's like a certain group of Freemasons. He talked about his General Grand Masonic Congress and how many Grand Lodges are under that Congress. To make it clear to you, what he was talking about is like a group of Grand Lodges that are part of one like federation or like one group. He mentioned like he said there were 36 Grand Lodges representing 36 states and stuff like that. Now, when you talk about a General Grand Masonic Congress, there's several of those, not just one. There are different ones. And what they are basically different different groups of Grand Lodges that come together and make one organization. That's what that is. So that's what the General Grand Masonic Congress thing is. I talked about the growth of the jurisdiction. Another thing is clandestine, right? The term clandestine, because in part one of this episode, I mentioned that the term clandestine in the United States of America, that term typically is used as a slur to disrespect people who are not recognized by your particular jurisdiction. I said that. And that's the truth. The term clandestine and Freemasonry only represents in its intended meaning individuals who are subversive in regards to your Grand Lodge or your organization. For example, I'll give you a great example. In my Grand Lodge, if there's a lodge that exists, and then you have members in that lodge that do something that's what we would call subversive. They create some type of lodge without our knowledge, meaning without the knowledge of the administration, and they make masons and they start doing, Masonic work without the knowledge of the administration. That's clandestine. That's all that clandestine masonry means. When it comes to different Masonic organizations that don't recognize each other, the proper term is you're not recognized. I'll give you an example. The Grand Orient of France, which is the biggest Masonic organization in the country of France. They're the biggest. They're not, nobody would call them clandestine. Not saying nobody would, because in American mainstream masonry, they probably would say that. Because most of the mainstream American Grand Lodges don't recognize the Grand Orient of France, but they're not clandestine. They're unrecognized by mainstream masonry in America for the most part. There's a difference. That means they're unrecognized, not clandestine. Clandestine means you have, again, masons inside of your lodge that are doing things that the lodge and the Grand Lodge don't approve of. That's what clandestine means. It means secretive with an underhanded purpose. A good way to put it is subversive. That's the best way to put that. So we talked about that. I talked about the old-fashioned Masonic podcast removing the video, the one that they made about clandestine masonry in Weston, Jarvis. Another thing I want to mention is visiting, when it comes to like visiting different Masonic lodges. When you're talking about John G. Jones Masonry, which is what like Weston Jarvis is a part of, to make it simple, not to make it complex to you, members of John G. Jones Masonry, which is basically it's a brand of Freemasonry. Like you have Prince Hall Masonry. That's a brand of Freemasonry. It's like a style, so to speak, of Freemasonry. With John G. Jones Masonry, which is what Weston Jarvis is a part of, they have their own lodges, their own grand lodges. Not all of them recognize each other, stuff like that. But individuals who come into Freemasonry as a part of like John G. Jones Masonry, they could go and visit different lodges in this country and outside of this country. It's a fact. So that's another point to understand. Racism is another thing. When Weston Jarvis came on to the old-fashioned Masonic podcast, which was cool that they did that, even though old-fashioned Masonic podcast took the video down. And I believe they took the video down because they don't want individuals to know that inside of America, as well as outside of America, the Freemasonry is not one thing. It's a fact. Google is your friend. Look it up. I believe they took the video down because if people that are interested in Freemasonry, if they look into like the politics of Masonic organizations, they will find out that Masonry is not just like one organization. It's a broad organization. I don't want to say a broad organization, but you put it this way. This is the best way to understand it. If you were a Christian, you will understand that. Not a fake Christian. If you were a real Christian, like you follow the Christian religion, you will understand that in the Christian religion, there's Protestants and there's Catholics. That's the broad representation of Christianity, Catholicism, and Protestantism, 2. And then under Protestantism, there are various different groups. For example, Baptists, Methodists, Lutherans, so on and so forth. Freemasonry is the same as that. That's a fact. Freemasonry is not one overall umbrella organization as everybody that's a Freemason is one group. No, it's not. Freemasonry has different groups within Freemasonry. It's a fact. Why? Because humans have conflicts and they have problems and they break away from each other and so on and so forth. So my belief is that that's why the old-fashioned Masonic podcast took the episode down, because they know that. They know that there's not only mainstream masonry, there's mainstream masonry, there's Prince Hall masonry, and then within Prince Hall masonry you have PHA, Prince Hall affiliated, and also Prince Hall origin, PHO. You have that. Then in Freemasonry you have co-masonry, Freemasonry for men and women. There's all types of different groups inside of Freemasonry. So they took the episode down, in my opinion, because they know that people will start leaving comments like, hold on, I'm a Mason from this organization, or I'm a Mason from that organization. And the different things, I wish they would have kept the episode up, but there were just certain issues that the host of the old-fashioned Masonic podcast was asking Weston Jarvis, like I said, the money issue. Every Masonic organization charges money. Every Masonic organization. Every one. Mine. Every one. To be a Mason, you have to pay money to be a Mason. That's a fact. It's a fact. If you're a Mason, you pay money to be one. That's a fact. 100%. You pay money to become a Mason. You pay money to maintain your membership as being a Mason. Every Mason pays money in the organization. I don't care what Masonic organization you're talking about. Every Masonic organization charges dues, initiation fees. Every Masonic organization. Every one. There's not one Masonic organization that doesn't. And that doesn't make it a Ponzi scheme or nothing like that. It's just that Freemasons are a brotherhood, a fraternal organization. If you're going to be like in a brotherhood and stuff like that, you pay money. It's what it is. It's not complex. It's not a complex thing to understand. The problem is that with the mainstream Masons that try to misrepresent what Freemasonry is to the public, they try to misrepresent other Masonic organizations. In this instance, we're talking about Weston Jarvis and his organization. They try to make it like, oh, they make people pay dues. So do you. Every Masonic organization pays dues. Everyone. There's no Masonic organization that does not charge membership fees. None. That's a fact. The other thing was the Philaxis Society, and let's see if when they do their newer episodes and have the Philaxis Society come on, the Philaxis Society is like a Prince Hall PHA, not PHO. Remember, like I said, there are two main Prince Hall Masonic organizations, PHO and PHA. There are two. The oldest one, the original one, is PHO. That's a fact. Even if you go on the internet and it looks like, oh, PHA is the real one and they're the older one, that's not the truth. That's a lie. Like, study. Anyway, in PHA Masonry, which is like the bigger Prince Hall group, they have like a branch group called the Philaxis Society that likes to put out false narratives about people's organizations. This is what they do. I guess because, I don't know, they want to grow membership in Prince Hall PHA Masonry. It's so stupid is the point that I'm making. It's stupid and it's dumb, but that's what they do. And they think they're like Masonic police. They think like they could just harass everybody and tell them, yo, you're a fake Mason. It's stupid. It's super dumb. And I don't even know why we're talking about this a lot of times, but I have to talk about it because these are groups that water Masonry down. And I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people want to come into Freemasonry for spiritual purposes. To learn, not just to learn, but to have a community where they can network with individuals who are spiritual. That's it. Very simple. I talked about that. I talked about the racism thing. So I spoke mostly about everything I wanted to talk about. If somebody wanted to ask questions, I would answer them. Terrence Smith said the Blue Lodge is the one true lodge in America. It really is, because Freemasonry only has 3 degrees, bro. It's cool to have different degrees, like the Scottish Rite degrees and stuff like that. Facts. Derek Bennett, how you doing, my brother? He said, "What's up? What's up, bro? Love the hat." Yeah, of course, man. But don't get caught up in the politics. This is a MAGA hat, meaning, yeah, I'm MAGA. Everybody knows that and has been known that. But it's cool. Believe whatever you want to believe politically or whatever, man. We have to be like mature and deal with each other and stuff like that. With the topic of the show, it's sad when, bro, there's so many things we could talk about, bro. Like in America, all of that stupid shit that happens with us, like the, for example, the Penny situation, which is political. The guy in New York, I live in New York City. Okay, the guy chokes out a guy on the train for harassing people and he gets acquitted. He should have got acquitted because you need to protect your citizens. Bro, there's so many things going on, man. But in Freemasonry, with the old-fashioned Masonic podcast, trust me, they took the episode off because, in my opinion, they should know that those are not conversations that you should be having to cause division. When I talk about Freemasonry, I take Freemasonry as being very religious to me. I don't care about if you're Prince Hall. I get it. Like, trust me, we could go into the history and shit like that. But the way I practice Freemasonry is as a spiritual path. And that's a fact. And I think that's how we should all practice Freemasonry. And when we get on it like that, it's not like a religion like Christianity, like, oh yeah, everybody thinks the same, have the same mentality, everybody thinks the same. No, if you're a Freemason, link up with different Freemasons. Our philosophy is dope, bro. We have the Freemasons, we have, in my experience, and I've studied almost every religion in the world, and I'm pretty sure that every other real Freemasonry, excuse me, sorry, I said Freemason. Almost every real Freemason has done the same, studied almost every religion: Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism. I don't want to call Buddhism a religion per se, but you get what I'm saying. Taoism. Real Freemasons, our our spiritual path. I don't want to call it a religion per se, but I'm gonna call it a religion because it kind of is if we really think about it. It's universal. Every real Mason knows that. By real Mason, I mean Masons that study. Our Masonic path is universal. I can guarantee that almost everybody who watches my channel, not almost everybody, but Masons have read Morals and Dogma, various books by Brother Manly P. Hall, various books by Brother Paul Foster Case. As Masons, Masonry is a religion, bro. You can say it's not one, but it is. Christian pastors know that. That's why they say, oh, Masonry is a religion. It needs to be banned. We are a religion, but our religion is universal. If you disagree, leave it in the comments. But I can guarantee you that we are a religion, bro, by the definition of a religion. We are, by the definition of a religion. We pray in the lodge. That's a fact. 100% a fact. Masonry is religious, but not in a stupid way of being religious. It's a universal religion. We're free thinkers. Think about the teachings. And bro, there's so many things I could go into to show that Masonry is a religion, bro. We have a catechism. Look up the word catechism in the dictionary. Look it up, really, and see what the word catechism means. If you were raised as a Christian as a kid, I'm not talking about being a Baptist. I'm talking about traditional Christianity, which is like Catholicism, so on and so forth. And you'll see that if you were raised as a Catholic, you have a catechism, questions and answers that you have to memorize. You will see that there are rites of initiation, stuff like that, bro. Freemasonry is a religion. It's a fact. I don't see why we have to hide that nowadays. For what? Why do we have to hide that? Because for what? But we're a universal religion. It's not a religion like Islam or Christianity or Judaism, where it's like, oh yeah, we believe this one way. Freemasonry is a universal religion, meaning you believe in God, right? Yes. Not the God of the Bible or the God of the Quran or the God of whatever. Masons, it's not even a belief, it's a fact of what we know. The universe is built off of intelligence. There's a universal architect. So in Freemasonry, in my jurisdiction, we say there's a universal architect. Some other jurisdictions would say supreme architect. Some other, somebody told me recently, an ultimate architect. That's funny. Or a grand geometrician, whatever. Masonry is a religion, bro. It's a fact. 100%. Masonry is a religion. There's no need for us to hide that, bro. No need. No need. Every Mason I link up with and build with is because we're on a spiritual path, bro. Freemasonry is a religion, my brother. It's a fact. I'm just mentioning certain instances like Brother Albert Pike. Read Morals and Dogma. Read it. It doesn't mean he's an authority. It doesn't mean that, oh, Albert Pike says this, so it means it's a fact. What I'm saying is read it because that was a lifelong Mason, and he'll tell you. Once upon a time, our lodges were called temples. Once upon a time, and still with certain jurisdictions, we call our lodges temples. Look at our officers, a deacon, a senior deacon, a junior deacon. You never heard that office used in church? You never heard the term stewards used in church or in religious bodies? Masonry is a religion, bro. It's a fact, but we're a universal religion. And whoever has a problem with that, that's your problem. You could lie to the masses and say, like, oh, nah, I'm going to deny the religious nature of Freemasonry. But, bro, Freemasonry is a religion. It's a fact. It doesn't mean you can't be a Taoist or a Buddhist or something and be a Mason. It doesn't mean that. It's just our religion is a universal one, and it's a fact. But embrace it. And when you embrace it, it makes Freemasonry a good thing to be involved in. You could talk to your brothers about spiritual things, scientific things, philosophical things, so on and so forth, man. Even with this episode, the title of it, like I said, the guy, not, I don't want to say the guy because that's a channel, the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast. They had to take the episode down. Why? Because in my heart, I believe that they know that shit that they were promoting was stupid. Like clandestine masonry, this type of masonry, that type of masonry. Bro, Freemasonry is Freemasonry, bro. And Freemasonry is religious, it's spiritual, and that's a fact. And when individuals get back into understanding that, I'm not talking about these new cats that just get initiated yesterday. I'm talking about people who have been in Freemasonry studying it. If you have studied Masonry and you are a Mason, you know exactly that what I'm saying is the truth. I've been a Mason for over 20 years, bro, and I'm young. Masonry is spiritual. It's a religion. It's a fact, bro. It's spiritual. Straight up. That's it. And that's why individuals involved in it, I could guarantee you, bro, and I hate to go through these politics because, like, what you got to do? Prove to a person, oh, yeah, I've been in lodge with this brother. I've been in lodge with that brother. We've sat in lodge together. We've done this together. This shit is stupid, man. It's dumb. Pardon my French. It's just stupid to argue those points. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's stupid to keep a certain Grand Lodge alive and stuff like that. Like, for what? Masonry is spiritual. Embrace it. In my opinion, do that. Embrace it. That's it. It's a spiritual path. If you're not into Masonry for that purpose, then what are you in it for? So for the people that are not into it for that reason, listen, I could guarantee you 100%. The individuals that are not into Freemasonry for a spiritual purpose don't remain Masons for long. I guarantee you that, bro. 100%. And even on the internet, it's easy to prove. Very easy to prove. They don't stay into masonry for long. Facts. I could tell you, bro, from dealing with different channels, whatever, and forget just the channels, but just even in the streets, meaning in the world with Freemasonry. But as far as the internet, I could tell you there are cats that you'll see on the internet, like names that will come to mind for me. Like Belu. You ain't gonna know who Belu is unless you deal with Masons on the internet. Brother Belu. And I could say his government name, but I'm not gonna say it. Belu. Been a Mason for years, for years, for years. Why? Because he takes Masonry as a spiritual path, and that's the truth. Um, Tony Hawkins. I don't agree with Tony Hawkins with everything for sure. I don't think he has as much knowledge as a lot of Masons do, but that doesn't matter. Mason, he's a Mason. Um, bro, there's so many. My brother Jimmy, like, bro, there's so many Masons, bro. My brother Jimmy, he's in PHA, whatever. Bro, there's so many Masons, so many, and I could say Masons because I know that stick to the path, that stick to it, that call you, that come to meetings. Whether I wouldn't say nothing like the Weston Jarvis dude said, like, oh yeah, like I think he said on the episode on the old fashioned Masonic podcast, like, oh yeah, I helped to do a raising in so and so lodge. And I know people know that. You should never say that. I don't doubt that happened. But you should not say that. You don't have to. You should never say that. Like, you should never say that because that would get those people suspended from their suspended if somebody wants to press the issue in their jurisdiction. But at the same time, let's not fucking lie, bro. That they're not mainstream Masons that build with co-Masons. I'm a co-Mason. Let's come on, bro. Let's not lie about this shit, bro. Let's not do that. Look at platforms, for example, like Phoenix Masonry. Look up Phoenix Masonry. Look it up. You look it up in the internet. Mainstream Masons there, co-Masons there. We all come together. There's books published. We sit there, we study articles together, and we build on Freemasonry in a real way, man. Do that. Simple. Do that. I wish that more Masons would come onto YouTube and give a lecture on a live stream, stuff like that, man. And like overpower these stupid motherfuckers, which I don't even want to mention their names because they're fucking idiots. To overpower the idiots and allow non-Masons, meaning regular people, profane. And that it's no disrespect when we use the term profane. Non-initiated people to get on YouTube or Rumble or TikTok or whatever and hear about Freemasonry from a spiritual perspective, and it would can bro, you would be doing the purpose of Masonry. That other stupid shit. Oh yeah, bro, this guy, this clandestine and blah blah blah. Dumb shit. It's stupid. It's fucking dumb as fuck. Like everybody knows that's a Masonic historian, myself and others included. We know that, for example, we know that Prince Hall was made a clandestine Mason. That's a fact. It's not no fucking made up shit. That's a fact. That's a fact. You want to debate it? Let's do it. If you want to debate it. let's do that. But you don't want to do it because you know it's bullshit. Prince Hall was a clandestine Mason, according to fucking whatever. That's a fact, man. Come on now. But then what does that mean? What does it mean he was a clandestine Mason? Easy. He was fucking initiated by John Bat. Come on now, bro. Let's stop with the bullshit. It's that all of that is stupid. It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean shit. The United Grand Lodge of England. How long have they been going with their bullshit narrative? For a long time. I remember when I first came into Masonry, I believed a lot of that bullshit. Oh yeah, these are the first four lodges. Oh, Goose and Gridiron, Apple Tree Tavern, Rum and Grapes, blah, blah, blah. 1717. A lot of that shit is bullshit. Facts. Bullshit. Only to come to learn that Freemasonry started in Scotland. That's a fact. Not in England, in Scotland. And then obviously you have the fucking literally, I don't want to say clandestine, but the literally idiots that will say like, oh yeah, Masonry started in Africa type, like in the literal sense. And that's wrong. But I wouldn't knock those people because they haven't done enough studies. But I'm talking about Freemasonry, ancient, free, and accepted Masons, the Masonic organization. That shit didn't start in Africa. Come on now, bro. I've been around long enough to know this. I'm not saying we don't have, like, obviously spiritual traditions going into ancient Egypt and ancient India and Persia, so on and so forth. So you have people that misunderstand Masonic philosophy and they're like, oh yeah, Masonry started in Egypt. No, it didn't. Not what we represent. No, it didn't. It started in Scotland, bro. But of course, in our traditions, we have ancient Egyptian mysticism and, like I said, Persian mysticism and Kabbalah, everything, bro. Masonry is universal. But as far as like our organization, it started in Scotland, man. This is very simple in this age of information. Very simple. Oldest rituals, Scotland. Oldest lodges, Scotland, not England. The point that I'm making is that when you start to know these types of things, you'll start to see where your jurisdiction can mislead you in terms of the history of Masonry. Fuck the exoteric, like, history, the way a lot of these people are trying to present it to you. Look it up for yourself, and I will guarantee you, man, that you will find out that Freemasonry, our organization, Ancient Free and Accepted Masons, started in Scotland, my brother. It's a fact. It's not rocket science. The UGLE won't say that officially, but come on now, it's there, it's known. If you do your studies, man. Okay, so what? Started in Scotland. That's what it is. And that's cool. It's dope because that's a part of the tradition that you should look into. Likewise, if you study the Scottish Rite, there's certain legends there and stuff like that. You know, look into it. And the point is, look at Freemasonry as a spiritual path, bro. Not as some fucking stupid, dumb, like, social club. If everybody does that, bro, you will have a good experience in your Freemasonry and you would enjoy it. And at the same time, you would weed out the jerk offs, meaning the people that don't deserve to really be Masons. Facts. You will weed them out. You will weed them out. People say the stupidest shit when Freemasonry becomes watered down. And I guarantee you that, man. You have people that if you were to tell them like, yo, bro, there's masonry in prison, they'd be like, nah, man, they ain't masonry in prison. That shit is clandestine. Are you nuts, bro? Like, you think that they're not people that go to that are upright men, meaning true and upright, that go to prison. What the fuck you think? Like, nobody gets framed for crimes and stuff like that. The British, like, to each his own. It's like the type of idiots that come into Freemasonry nowadays. I don't know what it was before my time, but nowadays that come into Masonry, a lot of fucking idiots, dumb dumbs, stupid people. They can't think past go. But when you live Masonry as a spiritual path, you're gonna understand this, man. Even back then, you could look into the archives. I've had books before. I don't have them now because I've lost them, but I know for sure what I'm saying is correct. You have Freemasonry in concentration camps in fucking Germany when Hitler was a world ruler. That's a fact. That's jail. That's prison. Political prisoners. I've been in prison myself. I know this. I've seen this. Oh, no, no, no. That's not a Mason. That's a criminal. Stupid, dumb, weird, dumb shit. Anyway, with that being said, let me get out of here, man. I just hope that whoever sees this, that's a real Mason. Masonry is a spiritual path, and it's a fact. I'm not saying jack the idiots, which I get it, bro. We're like the what do you call it? The old-fashioned Masonic podcast. I get that, bro. Trust me, I watch it, I've seen it in the streets, meaning like in everyday life. I've seen it, bro. I've seen not just in John G. Jones Masonry or Prince Hall Masonry or mainstream Masonry. I've seen dumb shit, idiot shit, typos in the fucking petition, uh, fucking unqualified idiots. Individuals, if you ask them, yo, who's Socrates? They don't know who Socrates is. Who's Seneca? Who's Seneca? I don't know. There's not wrong when I know who Seneca is, but what I'm saying is like, I'm a master mason. You don't know who Seneca is. You don't know who Socrates is. You don't know who Aristotle is. You don't know who Plato is. You don't know who Imhotep is. You don't know fucking how many inches are in a fucking a foot. You don't know how many inches are in a yard. Stuff like that, or how many feet are in a yard. You don't know what's the distance from the earth to the sun, allegedly. Shit like that. Oh, let's talk about Rosicrucianism. You don't know who CRC is in the mythology of Rosicrucianism. You don't know who Francis Bacon is. You don't know who William Shakespeare is. You don't know about King James and the court of King James and the King James Bible and fucking idiots, man. Like degrading masonry. Facts. So anyway, let me sign off, man. I just hope that everybody who watches this that knows that what I'm saying is true and legit, stick to that, bro. All of these fucking other stupid idiots, you know what the truth is. You study masonry for 6 months and I'm a master mason. Really, bro? 6 months you study all of this whatever catechism. That's it, and you don't even know your catechism like that. And then, like I said, I get it that you have in these fucking organizations, like I said, John G. Jones, whatever, Prince Hall too. And even the mainstream. I get it. You have idiots there. Like, yo, I'm a grandmaster, and you look at these cats like, bro, really? Where were you entered? On the grand floor of King Solomon's temple. That's easy. What number makes Elijah enter the apprentice mason? 7. What number makes Elijah fellow craft masons? 5. What number makes Elijah master masons? 3. There's things that I was telling a brother in my lodge, not in my lodge, he's in my jurisdiction in another lodge. And like, masonry has to become you. The mechanics have to become second nature, bro. So I like a lot of times that the younger masons, meaning younger cats that come into Freemasonry and they really want to be with it spiritually, teach them and let them know at the same time. Like when you see a lot of these older motherfuckers, part of my French, that, oh yeah, I'm a Mason, bro. I've been this for 40 years, 50 years. But test them and they don't know the work. And it's not about the exoteric work per se, but it's a part of it too, man. You have to know that. That's why I said, but where were you passed? That should be obvious to you, in the middle chamber of King Solomon's temple. Where were you raised? In the Holy of Holies of King Solomon's temple. When you're talking about Hiram Abiff, you should know off the rip. And this is not no secret. Back then it would be secret, but not now. You should know what Masonry is trying to teach you. I ask brothers all the time in my jurisdiction, like they go through a curriculum, 7 liberal arts and whatnot, psychology, geology, all of these different natural philosophy, these different sciences. But I'm saying in terms of when they go through those things and then they go through the ritual or the different rituals in the 3 degrees. How did it impress you when you were raised? Oh yeah, I get it now. Yeah, you should get what the intended meaning is of our rituals. Masonry is teaching you like profound knowledge, man. Back in the day, meaning before our birth, before I was born on this earth physically. For the profane, when they read the Bible, they think Jesus Christ is a real person. It's intended for them to believe that. So that's the intention. It's a dogmatic religion. But when you come into Masonry, it's something special. And when you go through the ritual work and you go through the degrees, not the fucking just catechism, not just that. How can I know you to be a Mason? How do you know yourself to be a Mason? What are signs? What are tokens? Blah, 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 blah. All of that. That's cool, though. It's good. It's necessary to know it. 100%. But when you're going through the curriculum and you understand, when you're raised from a dead level to the square to a living perpendicular onto the 5 points of fellowship by the lion's paw, you're going to understand like, oh shit, Masonry is fucking profound. Pardon my French. It's very Gnostic. Then when you read the Bible, which is part of your curriculum, you should be doing that before you even go through all of the rituals. Oh shit. Masonry is teaching me that I'm Jesus Christ. I'm not looking for Jesus Christ in the heavens somewhere out there. This is a myth. It's a myth. I'm Jesus Christ. That's what Masonry is teaching me. Look at the words. Pay attention to the words. Etymology. Look at the words. That's why even if I look at something like clandestine, I look at what the word's supposed to mean. Look it up. You see a word like cable tow in masonry, look it up. Don't just look it up as to what you think it means. Look it up in the Masonic context. Look it up. And you'll realize, bro, masonry is very profound. This is why Freemasonry has existed for so long and has been so popularized. It's deep, but look it up. Very profound. The widow's son. Oh, why am I the widow's son? Pay attention. The hints are there, bro. The hints are there. Read different books. Even if the shit is a waste of your time, and for the most part, like you could read Webb's Monitor, or you could read the Preston work. You could read like old books, and if you pay attention, man, and you really study your masonry, you'll be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I guarantee you that. And you'll see in the Webb work or the Preston work, oh yeah, we Masons, we have an affinity to the work of the ancient Egyptian hierophants and stuff like that. Pay attention to that type of stuff and then look into it. And then you'll see like, oh shit, who was the widow's son in ancient Egyptian religion? Oh, Horus, right? He's the son of the goddess Isis in the myth. It's a myth. And then you study that civilization and then you start to see like, oh, okay. The initiates of the ancient mysteries of that civilization, oh yeah, okay. It was meant for them to understand that, oh yeah, I am the god Horus. Osiris was murdered by his brother Set, who had a conspiracy against him. And then you get into masonry and you realize, oh, okay, all right, Hiram Abiff, there was a conspiracy. Pay attention to the words, man. There was a conspiracy to murder Hiram Abiff. Weave it together. It's not far-fetched, bro. It's what it is. And then when you see Freemasonry as a spiritual path, you'll be good. You're not gonna worry. I would only say this: don't not affiliate yourself with a lodge. Like there's certain traditions and customs in masonry that I 100% believe in, such as affiliate yourself with a lodge. Just because why not? You should do that. Don't just say, "Oh yeah, I know a little bit," and I'm gonna go and be a renegade, and you know what I'm saying? Because that becomes a problem. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a renegade and not pay dues and just no. Contribute is the point. It's so deep, man. But hopefully I said enough, bro, that makes sense. And I know that the true brothers and sisters would understand 100% what I'm saying. And they will also know if they deal with me that, oh yeah, Brother Match has always been a true Mason. True. 100%. And that's that, man. And with that, thank you for tuning in and stuff like that. Sammy Tate said you're right about Scotland for sure, man. He shout out brother Herbert Weir. Terrence said a Mason is a master man. Yeah, it gets deep like that. I just want to read certain other things before I sign off, just so that I don't disrespect anybody. Yeah. Brother Derek said, I saw that interview with the guy. He got some people in trouble. They talking about taking charters. He shouldn't have said the name and where the lodge was that he helped raise guys in. Exactly, bro. I agree with that. 100%, because there's certain cats, bro, they're not trying to break their obligation and stuff like that. I agree with you 100%, bro. We like, yeah, you're right, bro. That's why I look at it like, bro, if I could just like, if I could say certain things, I would if I could, but I can't. And that's the beauty of secrecy, bro. But yes, truth. Like, all right, so anyway, with that, man, I love all of y'all, meaning like all the brothers, meaning Masonic brothers and stuff like that on the square.